When you spread a feast, invite poor people, crippled, lame, blind. And you will be happy, because they have nothing with which to repay you. Luke 14:13-14. On another occasion he encouraged a rich young ruler. Sell all the things you have and distribute to poor people, and you will have treasure in the heavens. And come be my follower. Luke 18:22. The fact that this man was unwilling to part with his possessions to aid others showed that he had no real concern for the oppressed and thus did not have the qualities required for being a disciple of Jesus. Luke 18:23. Jesus' encouragement to assist the poor was in line with what he himself had done. As God's Son in the heavens, he had everything. But though he was rich he became poor. As a poor man on earth, he was able to redeem the human race, making available the greatest of riches, that is, the prospect for his followers to become sons of God. 2 Cor 8:9. Additionally, other great spiritual riches became available to them. Compare 2 Cor 6:10. Read 2:9, 3:17-18. Also, while on earth, Jesus personally took an interest in the materially poor. He and his apostles had a common fund from which they gave to needy Israelites. Mount 26. 9-11. Mr. 14. 5-7. Joe 12. 5-8. 13. 29. The same loving concern for the poor was manifested in later years by Christians as they provided material assistance for their poor brothers. Row 15. 26. 2:10. But some did forget, making it necessary for the disciple James to reprimand them for bestowing favoritism on the rich and looking down on the poor. Just 2:9. Of course, only those who were deserving received material assistance. By no means was laziness encouraged. As the Apostle Paul wrote to the Thessalonians, "If anyone does not want to work, neither let him eat." 2th 3:10. See beggar, begging. Gifts of mercy. Poplars heb. Are a middle.vim plural. The Hebrew name for this tree corresponds to the Arabic Arab, which continues to be used for the Euphrates poplar. Thus, although the poplar and willow are of the same family of trees, and both common to the Middle East, modern lexicographers favor the poplar tree Populus upratica in translation. See Kuhler and Baumgartner's Lexicon in Veteris Testamenti Libros, Leiden, 1958, p. 733. Brown, Driver, and Breeks Hebrew and English Lexicon of the Old Testament, 1980, p. 788. The New Westminster Dictionary of the Bible, edited by H. Geman, 1970, p. 998. The poplar tree is very common along the banks of the Euphrates, while the willow is comparatively rare there, and thus fits well the reference at Psalm 137. 1-2, which describes the weeping Jewish exiles as hanging their harps on the poplar trees. The small, crisp, heart-shaped leaves of the Euphrates poplar, also called aspen, are carried on flattened stems that hang obliquely from otex to acute muritra longo. Paratha 654 would appear to refer to the torrent valley of Zidnu 21. 12. The 2:13, which acted as the frontier boundary between Moab and Edom to the east. The torrent valley of Zid is generally identified with the Wadi el-Hassa, which flows into the east end of the Dead Sea. In its lower course it passes through a small plain that is somewhat swampy in places, and could thus be a suitable place for poplars to have grown. Zid, torrent valley of Parathapomidal.Aratha. One of the 10 sons of Haman. As 9:8-10. Porch. In the Hebrew scriptures the word for porch, amiddle.lam or umiddle.lam, is not used in regard to an architectural portion of individual homes, private houses. Whether Israelite homes had a porch of some sort is difficult to determine. But the archaeological remains of some houses in Megiddo indicate that they were built around a courtyard and that one ground floor room served as an entrance vestibule. The Biblical Archaeologist, May 1968, pages 46-48. In the scriptures a middle.lam is applied to 2 of the public buildings Solomon constructed, the front part of Solomon's temple, and to certain parts of the gateways and temple that Ezekiel was shown in vision. Porch of Pillars. One of the official buildings Solomon constructed in the temple area sometime after he completed the temple was the Porch of Pillars. 1 Kai 7. 1. 6. Since mention of the Porch of Pillars is made between comments about the House of the Forest of Lebanon and comments about the Porch of the Throne, it is quite possible that the Porch of Pillars was S of the temple and between these other two official buildings. Thus, one coming from the S might pass through or around the House of the Forest of Lebanon and then enter the Porch of Pillars, walking through it into the Porch of the Throne. The building was 50 cubits 22.3 meters, 72.9 feet long and 30 cubits 13.4 meters, 43.7 feet wide. Its very name suggests that it was made up of rows of impressive pillars. 1 Kings 7. 6 mentions another porch in front with pillars and a canopy. Perhaps this means that one first came to a porch having an extending canopy supported by pillars. Then this porch merged right into the Porch of Pillars proper. If the dimensions given apply just to the Porch of Pillars, then the size of the canopied portion is not given.